Hello, whitewashed and coal-black citizens of New London, and welcome back to the next pre-fabulously materialistic, unwise elderly thinking, and seal of disapproval episode of FROSTPUNK 2. Last time we left off, the prologue survival story of the Wanderers had just successfully ended with an old grand exit without any self-exiting of grand elderlies, and every nomad managed to avoid being gravely wiped out from the whiteout as one of God's mistakes, thanks to my Canadian-inspired tax rebate policies and employee remittances of excess scraps. As the most exalted steward manager of the recently formed Wanderers Housing Incorporated Township Establishment, or WHITE for short, I refrain myself from collecting capitation taxes from every unemployed citizen who is unable to work due to premature/elderly age, disability, and/or sickness, and instead focus more on expanding as much industry in every available resource sector that I can salvage within this barren winter wasteland, and make good use of my ethical critical thinking skills to guide their winter wandering lost souls. For starters, I successfully built adequate and excess comfortable housing for all of my middle-class workers and their families near the running furnace of the abandoned dreadnought to cut down on fossil fuel burning for public utility heating, thereby earning profitable stock in the monopolized and monopsonized oil market. To help stock up on the sufficient 10 days worth of rations for the entire population required to survive the whiteout, I explored every patch of warm fertile land to grow some hardy crops and even sealed the deal after establishing hunting grounds near the Sealskin colony, which not only provide fresh delicious bacon and greasy warm blubber for the population, but also kickstart a trend of strapless sealskin coats among the most pure whitest women in the Wanderers community. With so much seal fat going around, it's gonna be hard to tighten those belts around their big fat bellies full of lard, and also difficult to store the excess grease for our lab oil lanterns. So, in preparation, I ordered establishment of new grub hubs, where we can store all the food we need to help dole out the whiteout, and also provide a central food depot delivery service for my hungry workers at the oil fields and scrap yards. Once we established a hearty fast food industry, we then began expanding for more scraps and materials before stumbling across some construction prefabricated resources, which became essential once the district started to fall into disrepair due to the intense winter constantly battering the infrastructure, trashing them into festering huts for cold, shivering squatters getting cold turkey due to lack of snow. Once I rebooted the fabulously prefab economy, our food situation later came back with a stomach-growling vengeance when I overheard some old people conspiring to donate their bodies as dried-out human bacon rations, which got me worried, sicker than a red-nosed reindeer, prompting me to further expand the fast food industry even further. In the meantime, one of our citizens working at the dreadnought furnace stumbled upon an old frozen corpse bearing the insignia of the fur platoon New London Scout and pointed out one of the patches he was wearing on his coat. Realizing that this is from the previous early post-Great Frost era, I instantly pointed out his allegiance to the New White Order that once ruled New London with an iron-cold militaristic fist, thereby establishing New London's continuity arc as an orderly and disciplined white ethno-state. As the whiteout draws closer to erasing our community off the map, one of the seal hunters informed me about the inefficiency in our ration stockpiling operations and suggested that we should hunt down all the seal families, including their baby pups and fat mamas, to boost their stockpiles. Seeing this as the great way to fall into Malthusian trap and destroying our only source of sustainability, I scolded at the hunter and offered him my seal of disapproval, but also promised him that our deathly fates will not be sealed so long as we stick to the economic plan and alternatively propose enacting 24-hour workdays at all crop farms. In addition, some of the old farts and crows volunteered to literally self-exit out of our camp to relieve the food burden on our community, by wandering aimlessly into the snowy frostland where they are most likely to die from the intense whiteout cold, being eaten by polar bears, or mugged by exiled maroon thugs. Not feeling moody about leaving the children orphaned without their wrinkly, woeful family companions, I also rejected their offer of self-sacrifice, as I had already paid their pensions in the form of scraps and did not want those paid rebates to go to waste, well, ironically speaking. Alas, after many weeks of preparations, we were able to stockpile enough food for the whiteout, and then some, within a couple of weeks ahead of schedule. And with the power of ethical and sustainable capitalism, the Wanderers were able to live for another grueling workday, and I was able to both keep and extend my social license. As of right now, I had just started on the next chapter in New London as Master Steward after the death of our old captain who served our city for over 30 years. And my current administrative task is a search for new coal reserves to reboot our dying heat generator. Though knowing about how our story progresses, I figure New London is going to stop gnashing on the coal that's choking rocks and start sucking on a petroleum titty. Moreover, I see that we have some new communities, which means it is time to educate my loyal citizens on stakeholder management and issues resolution. But first I need to restart the game since I accidentally left this on play for too long, so let's load this, load this save, load again. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to load, let's talk about stakeholders. What are stakeholders? Well, stakeholders are individuals or groups. I got this. Okay, just let me try to do my presentation first, then I'll address all your concerns. Just hold on for a minute, okay? Okay, so anyway, stakeholders are just the groups or communities that influence or become influenced by the achievement of the organization's purpose. Yes, purpose is like the generator fire that lights under your ass, okay, and it keeps you going. All organizations are involved in stakeholder management, which is the process of identifying and responding to stakeholders' actions, interests, and rights. But please, keep in mind that stakeholders management does not give the organization an excuse to manipulate society, okay? That's not what it is for. In ethics, the goal of the government is to establish relationships with its citizens so they can act as a source of creative solution making, offer innovative and progressive ideas, which you can get from the idea tree, and nurture the network of political support. Another group of stakeholders are known as rights holders, which are stakeholders with legal or inherent rights of protection, respect, and remedy. Now, before you can engage in stakeholder and issues management, there are 5 very essential core questions you must ask yourself. Who are our stakeholders? What are the stakes, interests, or issues at hand? What responsibilities, whether economic, legal, and philanthropic, does our government have to all its stakeholders? What opportunity and challenges are present in our government? And finally, what strategies or actions should our government take to best deal with the stakeholder challenges and opportunities? As the CEO and senior official of the McKinsey & Company, Scott Keller once said, "Laying foundations for all stakeholders is key. You cannot build trust when a crisis happens. You can only build trust before a crisis happens." And now that I have everything explained, it's time to move on with the game. But first, let me have my brewed moonshine ale to wet my parched mouth. Still as watery as mushy snow, but at least it still has a little bit kick in it, so a kick in the pants, I say. So let's review our objectives, which may be responsibilities I must hold and as challenges. So number 1, frostbake to a shallow coal seam and construct an extraction district. Alright, so this is the first thing we have to do first, okay. Let's see who our stakeholders are. Our stakeholders at the bottom of the screen are the Frostlanders. Okay, let me check this. Steward! Steward, okay. Adaptation is the only way to live in the frost. Okay. Fund the projects. Fund projects beneficial to the community. The larger your population, the more heat stamps required to fund. Heat stamps? Hold on a second. I need to raise them a little. Okay, and favors. Raise funds. Ask the Frostlanders to contribute all they can for the good of the city. The larger their population, the more heat stamps they will contribute. Okay, good. So basically it's just tax fundraising. Demand funds. Having guards forced them to pay a large emergency, quote-unquote, contribution. Yes, just like how the friggin' mafia of the 20th century would ask for donations to help bail out one of their jail employees, quote-unquote, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, he needs 51 guards, claws, I don't know. you will have 414 heat stats, but trust falls marginally. Relationships extremely worsen with frost. Okay, so it's resource reacquisitions or redistribution, okay? Just like with the Soviet communists, but as of right now, I have to think like a capitalist, which means no more taking the wealth from the okay? Unless we really needed to keep our other stakeholders healthy. Now, the Star Wars. Oh, that's the faction. Oh, the fervor is well done to decide. Let's check out who the Star Wars are. Sure. Okay, so they're kind of like the police force of the New London. The Star Wars. Well, what are exactly our Star Wars? Star Wars, marked by outstanding strength and vigor of body, mind, and spirit. A stalwart person. Etymology. Sometime in the 15th century, English speakers began to use stalwart in place of the older form stalwart. Although stalwart is now archaic, it laid the groundwork for today's meaning of stalwart. During the 12th century, the forms of stalwart began to be used to describe strongly built people or animals, a meaning stalwart carries. It also came to be used as an adjective for people who showed bravery or courage. Stalwart comes from the English word steward, which means serviceable, which in turn is thought to come from the terms meaning foundation and work. Okay, they're like the founding guards, the public order guys, the special police force. Progress for the glory of New London. Merit forges the strongest. Reason for order for control. Okay, let's see. This is the special. Mobilize enforcers. The soldiers will field elite squads of guards to be used at the steward's discretion. Requires a favorable for better relations. Okay, let's see. Tracks. Fun projects. Blah blah blah. Council. Okay, there's just 2 warriors. Promote and condemn. Promote. Publicly announce your support for this faction. They will gain members and potentially secure additional seats in the council. Relations greatly improve with the Star Wars. Faction fervor is decreased. Condemned. Publicly condemn this faction and its members. They will lose members and potentially lose seats in the council. Star Wars fervor is increased. Relations significantly worsen with the Star Wars. You can't demand funds from them. Okay, let's see. What are the other stakeholders? What's the next stakeholder? The New Londoners. Frostlanders are the immigrants. Okay, and New Londoners are the natives of the city. Okay, I'm sorry, I got this all mixed up. The New Londoners. For technological progress, New London will rise. Okay, so they're basically like the urban technocrats and the business developers in this city. Okay. We got fun projects, we got favors, and what's the first? Deradicalize stalwarts. This community will encourage their former members to leave the faction that they have joined. Some members will leave the stalwarts. Stalwarts fervor will decrease, but stalwarts relations will also decrease. Requires favorable for better relations. Alright then, now that we got the gist of it, let's stockpiling. Some reasons like food, stockpile, but when the city runs into a surplus of resource, meaning the output is bigger than demand, the surplus will the stockpile. Stockpile will slowly fill up every day as long as there's storage capacity left over to store it. Stockpiles will be consumed wherever the demand is higher than the output of the specific resource. Stockpiling is limited by storage capacity. You use resource storage capacity by having over it. You can expand storage capacity by building stockpile hubs, fuel stockpile, materials, foods, goods. All stockpile hubs are available in the beginning of the game construction plan. Besides increasing stockpile capacity, stockpile hubs provide positive area effects. Built in proximity to districts that produces or requires the same resources that hub stockpiles. You can see which district can be affected by a given hub in the description of the construction plan. An accumulated stockpile is not lost after deactivating or destroying a stockpile hub. You're just losing your ability to stockpile more than your current storage capacity. Let's talk about the generator. This generator. The generator is the primary source of heat in the city. It requires fuel to function. Initially, your main source of fuel is coal, but later in the game, you can research and discover different types of fuel, which can vary in how much heat they provide. Which makes sense, as oil generally has higher energy density compared to coal in real life, meaning oil can release more thermal energy than coal for every mass of fuel burned. This is due to crude oil having a relatively higher and more pure hydrocarbon fuel content compared to the impure coal that, in spite of its higher carbon content, is contaminated with sulfur, mercury, arsenic, and radioactive elements. The generator uses as much available fuel as needed to fulfill heat demand in the city. If you have more than one type of fuel available, the most efficient one will be used first. The vertical indicator on the left shows how much heat demand is fulfilled in gray, and the red part stands for unfulfilled demand. In the case of heat surplus, a golden color will appear. You can also activate the generator overdrive, which temporarily increases the generator's efficiency but also increases its wear. Be careful and turn overdrive off before the wear indicator on the right fills up and causes malfunction, resulting in casualties. I just hope they have enough materials to fix up in case anything goes wrong. Oh, we haven't learned about factions yet, okay. Factions. Some citizens, ignited by passion and strong beliefs, will organize and form groups known as the factions. Factions are groups of citizens that are united by a common and clearly defined ideology and will actively seek to implement it in all aspects of the city. Factions originate from communities that share some of their beliefs. However, they have opinions about the city's direction in all three fields, whereas communities focus on only one aspect. Factions are more radicalized and better organized, which can be advantageous in certain situations. For example, if your relationships are positive, you can ask them to perform a special action, like hiring former and pardoned Blackwater mercenary contractors to assist the Trump government in mass immigrant deportations without due legal process. On the other hand, if they disagree with your rules, their opposition can be more fierce. Factions who propose extreme or radical ideas to be implemented in the city. They will also engage in disruptions such as rallies or protests. Oh, okay. I think it's best represents what type of stakeholders we are dealing with, because there are two types of stakeholders. There's primary stakeholders and the secondary stakeholders. Primary stakeholders are the laborers, such as unions, political representatives, engineers, consumers, convicts, private sector businesses, outposts, or depot suppliers. I think the New Londoners and the Stalwarts are considered primary stakeholders since they have a direct influence over New London. While the secondary stakeholders could include the Frostlanders, community settlements outside of New London, competing or allied cities, dissenters, strikers, public media, propaganda center, other leftover industry titans, and also, of course, the general public society at large. Please note that stakeholders' involvements may shift over time and varies among different isolated governments, making them hard to categorize. For example, the Stalwarts may act as secondary stakeholders by only doing what is necessary to keep public order within the city, but not necessarily being direct political influence on how the city runs. However, if they do get a hold of council office, they may act as primary and may even change the regulations over certain industries if they want to. Now, these stakeholders may be further subcategorized as either external stakeholders, such as leaders, stewards, worker councils, the general public and sectors, or internal stakeholders, such as the chief secretaries, the foremen, the propagandists, the agitators, the technocrats, overseers, and morale boosters. Though these concepts may seem sufficient, they still cannot identify all the stakeholders and rights holders in society. For example, the captains and the stewards may be external, but it may be argued they can also be internal. Inspectors may fall between both categories due to their semi-independence from the administration. Now, stakeholders may be distinct based on their obligations and benefits, or harm that they can give or receive, much like the more radicalized and better organized factions that may help you during times of advantageous strife, or may actually disrupt city function if they disagree with your political decisions. Now, there are two further categories of stakeholders. There's normative stakeholders, those to whom an organization has an obligation, and stakeholders from whom the organization has voluntarily accepted benefits. Those include industrial engineers, the laborers, the apprentices, local settlements, and maybe sometimes the Stalwarts too, because you need them to keep order within the city. Then there's derivative stakeholders, those from an organization has not accepted benefits, but still hold power over an organization through beneficial or harmful influence. Those include the whistleblowers, former parental city-states, rival settlements, and maybe also the Frostlanders. They don't technically have much influence over the New London, but if there's enough numerous people out there that can use their collective populist power to influence the future of New London, then they could have some secondary stakeholders. That's why they're called derivative stakeholders. And I'll just put over here a big giant web map to demonstrate all the internal and external stakeholders. Anyway, just remember, be sure to inspect and familiarize yourselves with factions, or I'd like to say, certain normative stakeholders that appear in your city by clicking on their portrait at the bottom of the screen. Oh, okay. I can actually check what they stand for. Fervor measures how many radicals are active within a faction. These radicals can increase tension. High fervor can also lead to violence and even a similar. No, I do not want this whole entire New London to become like New America. I know, or New Myanmar, or maybe like the New Russia. No, I don't want anything like that. No, I want to avoid war at all possible costs. Okay, I do not want a chronic crisis on my hands. No, okay. Right? We're trying to set into the proto straight, okay? I'll tell you about the stages of crisis much later on, if we ever go into a crisis. Fervor increases when a faction opposes your decisions and actions. To decrease fervor, you will need to maintain very good relations with the faction for a long enough time. Use de-radicalized faction action with a community from its faction origins, or use special ability in the prison building. Now you can also jail the factions if they become way too radicalized and turn to freaking terrorist groups. Okay. To keep the control of the city in your hands, you need to understand the desires of the factions in your city. Assist their fervor at all times and proactively try to keep them in check, unless you wish for them to rule the city. Okay, so factions, well, I think they're the NGOs, activists, political servants of the public, and maybe some third-party organizations not related to any civil society or the government. Yeah, I think we get the gist of it. Okay, so let's check out what our stakeholders have in store. Okay, I think the stalwarts might be a little bit problematic if their fervor gets a little bit too high. Frostlanders, well, I think they don't have much of a problem, so I think I consider them to be somewhat neutral. And of course, the New Londoners, well, if I keep their support very high, they could be very supportive of my political disease. So, but first, let's check out what they stand for. And they picture, fighting against the cold is futile. We will not give in the hubris of machines. The frost makes steel brittle. We will adapt, even if it requires sacrifice. Zeitgeist or city directory. You can mark the zeitgeist of your city in the bottom left of corner of the screen. Zeitgeist means spirit of time and describes the direction of your city on three axes: technology, economy, and society. Specifically, zeitgeist, coined by German philosopher George W.F. Hegel, is the spirit of age that acts as an invisible hand that dominates the type of cultural characteristics of an epoch in given history, and is believed that great moments and legends in history are born under certain social circumstances and specific situations at that time, hence the name. The laws you pass, buildings you build, and choices you make, they all impact the zeitgeist. At the same time, the communities have a natural tendency to favor some solutions over others. Your relations with them will change based on how your views are aligned with the current zeitgeist. The more you develop the city in the direction they support, the more positively it affects your relations. To see what a community or faction supports, click on your image at the bottom of the screen and hover over their icons above their name. What do the faith keepers stand for? Equality. The old world died along with it all its inequalities. Nobody should lay claim to all vital sources, and across all the sources are vital. This zeitgeist idea perfectly describes what is known as the common goods, which are non-excludable rival resources that anyone can freely consume, because it is prohibitively expensive and difficult to exclude those resources unless you are the only technologically advanced monopoly and monopsony in the entire world, but cannot be consumed by another entity once already used. In the world of Frostpunk, those common goods include the fish in geothermal pools, the wild Arctic cold-resistant crops, the frozen trees trapped underneath the ocean, and the iron vein deposits deep within the mountains. If New London fails to provide private incentives to extraction industries to maintain sustainability of those natural resources, this city and the remaining human race will face degeneration of common goods and ultimately their extinction. The permanent loss of vital resources due to overconsumption is known to economists as tragedy of the commons. Watch as your decisions shape the zeitgeist. Be on the lookout for the descent where you can tear your city apart. Man, the developer's really fond of everything. This makes it so much easier to explain the ethics. Okay, what do the Stalwarts stand for? Reason. To move beyond survival, we must leave behind the old social order. Through logic and reason, we will thrive. It is a new world. It demands a new society. Demerits. New opportunities ripen. Fortune, as always, will favor the bold. Let the best of us soar and elevate everyone but them. The progress. We will build machines that carve our place in knots. We will improve ourselves with technology. We will run research with the frozen earth to sustain everyone. We will bend nature to our will and we will fry. Okay, I think I'll lean towards Star Wars a bit more because I'm all about that technological progress and the innovative thinking and the capitalist ventures. But if it gets a little bit too aggressive, then I might need to help tone it down a little bit. Let's see what the New Londoners stand for. Yeah. Basically, the same as the Star Wars, but not as much fervorous and very dedicated to like all social dogmas and beliefs. So, okay, I think we got everything we need. We got all the information here. Generator is off right now, guys. So right now we have to focus on finding new code. Okay. So let's see. We've got fertile soil. Let's see. How much is our food situation? Oh, minus 90. That's not good. Okay. Is there a time limit? It's fertile soil. Okay, I need to look for some coal here. Oh, we got some frozen forest. Hold on a second. Let me press B. Oh, there's a different number of soil over here. Oh, okay. Really need to get to that. And like really quickly. There's soil, more soil. What's this? Old way station. The Frostpunk is the ruins of an old way station. Battered down during the whiteout years. We can restore it as a rear base for our exploration efforts. Build a logistics districts here to access the Frostland. Ooh, logistics district. Various resources are scattered throughout the nearby area, and tiles containing those resources are called deposits. To exploit these deposits, you can construct the appropriate district on a resource deposit tile. Different resources require different types of districts. For example, an oil wagon is used by an extraction district, while a fertile soil is used by a food district. So basically, extraction districts are like real-life boomtowns for miners and lumberjacks, while the food districts are farm-to-table taverns, restaurants, and communal cafeterias. Remember, in most cases, you will need a frostpunk to tile with the resource deposit before constructing anything on it. That's what the food district looks like for New London, okay. Looks very modern. Like maybe one of those mall restaurants. Oh, and the housing district is like a bunch of very tall apartments. Okay, I see. And the extraction district is just a bunch of oil rigs. And the fractionation tower that's used to separate the petroleum into like different types of combustible fluids based on their evaporation temperatures. The more resource deposits tiles within the district range, the larger the deposit the district can exploit. When a district produces something from the deposit, such as resources from extraction or food districts, an equivalent amount is subtracted from the deposit. This means that districts covering more resource deposits will last longer. However, the higher the district's output, the faster the deposit will be depleted. As with any accounting in real-life extraction industry, the cost of natural resources, much like any real property, is based on expenses of acquisition, exploration, and development, i.e. frost breaking, frostland scouting, and extraction district construction. After deducting costs of natural resources by the residual value of restored land after cleanup and site deconstruction, this depletion base value can then be divided by total number of resource units to obtain the depletion amount per unit, which can then be multiplied by number of units extracted per year to calculate the annual depletion expense. That is the valuable cost of stored inventory to be sold. If you are planning to extract resources in-game, first assess how much resources are there in the permafrost and how far away the resources are from your base. If there are abundant amounts and you accumulated sufficient funding and prefabricated materials for extractions to cover the annual depletion expenses, then you can begin frost-breaking construction of extraction industries. Otherwise, if you do not have sufficient funds nor prefabs, begin your extractions on the closest resource first, starting with materials or prefabs, before gradually expanding to larger extraction projects. Keep in mind that having more resource output in a district won't increase its output. It only increases the total amount of resources available for extraction. The district's output depends on several factors. For example, if the district doesn't have a full 100% workforce, its output will be lower. On the other hand, activating the emergencies will boost output. I think I must have remembered this from one of my macroeconomics class right now. It's been so long time ago. Yeah, you know what? As long as we advance with the technology, we won't need too much of a workforce per district. Because once you industrialize and mechanize the resource extraction, we should be able to keep our city running for as long as we need it to. okay? Some resource deposits are located deeper and require advanced technology to unlock. Refer to the Deep Deposit tutorial for more information by pressing the T key by default while hovering over the cursor over the Deep Deposit. Ooh, okay. Okay. Alright, let's see. Okay, we're gonna look for oil. Shallow iron vein. Ooh, ain't that coal, man? Where's the coal? I want the coal, man. Let's see, prefence. Oh, there it is, right there. Shallow coal thing, right there. Where is it exactly? Okay, just the southeast from here. So we have to move right over here in order to keep our generator running first. Okay. So right now, I think we should start frost breaking towards the coal here, but also maybe get some prefab as well. But most importantly, maybe we try to secure our situation, our food and the shelter here. So let's get the frost breaking, fellas. There, let's see. Right here, here. Let's see. And maybe over here as well. Alright, let's get to work, guys. Maybe secure our food situation as well. So, where's the one with the infinite number of fertile land? Maybe let's start with somewhere that's most closest, like over here. So let's frost break about in this area. Right here. No, I don't think so. Let's do all this again. I was for the food district, industrial district, logistics district. Industrial district. Process materials into prefabs and goods can produce other resources with additional structure. Okay, so basically they're like factories and materials manufacturing plants. Okay. And also the processing plants as well. Logistics districts. Send chartering expeditions to the Frostland, transport resources between the city and its colonies and outposts. Okay, so basically they're just responsible for the mapping and surveillance for new resources. Gotcha, okay. And possibly also they'll act as a radio telegraph station to bring in news about for any developments on resource extraction. Housing district. Let's start with the food first. Food is always important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Checkpoint. Alright, let's see here. Oh, but maybe we should extract for some coal first. We need coal to keep the generators running. Okay, let's continue. Alright, let's see. Ooh! Oh, what the hell? What's this? What are you doing over here? Oh, they're using the cranes and the excavators to break up the frost. Oh, that's genius.
Like with today's real-life ice-breaking land vehicles used for clearing highways and runways, these mechanical frost breakers implement large heavy rollers started with carbide-tipped spikes that stab into the ice as they roll across the icy plains, before the perforated ice surface is scraped off with a snowplow.
Okay, let's check on our progress on the food districts here. Okay, looking good, fellas, looking good. Alright, let's see how much we can expand here. Okay, they're not very hungry yet. But they are very cold, so I guess we should focus on building some shelters here, like a housing district. Preferably maybe very next to the food, so they don't have to walk too far for some sustenance. Oh, that's a frost breaking excavator? Oh my god, that's an icebreaker. Literally the frost breaker or icebreaker. Teams of workers with heavy equipment breaking ice and preparing ground so the city can expand. That's awesome. Yes, buildings, districts. Let's try a housing district. Very next. Yeah, this place is very taken. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Checkpoint. There we go. That's good. Let's see the resources. We got 2,100 prefabs and 429 heat stats. Heat stats? What the hell are heat stats? Heat stamps are stockpilable resources that can be spent on frost breaking, funding construction, and or when using specific actions. Oh, I see, they're like food stamps, but instead of paying for food, you're paying for heating in your house. Oh, okay.
As improbable or even ludicrous it may sound for a post-apocalyptic city to revive back government-sponsored currencies, newly formed governments need to implement new ways to smooth out and simplify transactions during goods and services exchanges. There are legitimate reasons why post-apocalyptic urban societies, like New London, would reconsider printing and stepping out their own legalized monetary tender. Number 1. As the city grows, the city would require a primary and universal form of medium of exchange to make transactions easier and cheaper, hence why New London must have developed heat stamps as their new legal tender. A city that uses a bartering system would be expensive, inefficient, and too limited because not every seller has the means to store, produce, or transport a sufficient amount of specific quality items required by the purchaser within a short period. As the economy grows complex, the amount of transactions occurring every day grows too, and thus the need for a universally accepted currency becomes essential. Number 2. Money acts as a measure of value that makes it much easier to compare prices of similar goods and services. As the city economy expands further on the type and number of goods and commodities, a universally comprehensive measure of value, like heat stamps, helps lower not only transaction costs, but also information costs when making sales and purchases. By giving every item a universal price, instead of different prices based on every commodity, the exchange of goods and services becomes much more smoother and simpler. Number 3. Money acts as a storage of value, meaning that saving heat stamps in a financial institution like a bank vault or a trust fund in the present will accumulate future value in the form of interest. If a New Londoner were to store bartering items like salted meat or varnished lumber for future transactions, that person would need to construct or rent an expensive, large warehouse to hold huge amounts of bulk items. If a massive great storm approaches and ends up demolishing the warehouse and the goods inside, the value of the bartering items will be dramatically lost. Moreover, essential goods of value stored for bartering may end up in unproductive use for several years. With heat stamps, a New Londoner can easily save money for future purchases or accumulate wealth in a bank for future retirement at a tiny fraction of the cost. Finally, number 4. Money can be used as a means of deferred payment, meaning heat stamps can be borrowed and repaid as principal loans and interest. In a bartering system, lending large amount of items or even a few bulk items will be too cumbersome and are at risk of succumbing to hyperinflation. If hunting season yields insufficient meat due to prior overhunting, or a hothouse uses up all the fertile soil, the price of food would skyrocket. Though all money face fluctuations in their value from time to time, the hyperinflation of legal tender is much less risky compared to the bartering system of several commodities. Hence why a well-developed post-apocalyptic society would switch to lending and borrowing heat stamps instead of commodities. Even if the heat stamp faced losing value from hyperinflation, New London would just reset the economy by printing out new legal tender and tie the value based on market prices of essential goods like coal or oil.
The city collects heat stamps weekly. Every community provides its share, depending on its size. Heat stamps income can be increased by satisfying goods demands. It can also be modified by certain laws and buildings. You can request or donate the heat stamps to communities and factories. Click on the community or factory in the bottom screen to see the list of possible actions.
As of any exchangeable resource, the demand for money also fluctuates in parallel with population growth as well as demand for goods. The physical supplied amount for all final goods and services, or real output, is directly proportional to the amount of money supply, as seen on this equation of exchange. Assuming that exchanges of heat stamp money remains constant and the New London government maintains a command economy by setting prices at acceptable levels, it is safe to assume that New London always prints new heat stamps at a steady rate equal to the growing real output of all goods, so as to maintain nearly constant stable price levels for the average New London consumer population.
Jeez, I'm so thirsty. Let me get my moonshine ale first. That's a very nice phosphorus. Alright, let's get back to work. How much can this housing district house? Only 20 houses. Oh, a second. Now, where can I build our next house? Let's see. I can actually build it over here. Like 1, 2, for free. I have to reorientate myself because I apparently can't click on the blue squares. B. Housing district. Put it over here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Checkbox. Checkbox. Alright, I think we need to start gathering some resources. Okay, that's the prefads. It is materials. Let's get and build an extraction district. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Checkbox. How much heat stamps do I need to build it? It's 40 heat stamps. Okay. Okay, let's see how New London's doing right now. Okay, looking good, fellas. You're doing great. Heat is still low, though. I think we should speed up on getting that cold quicker. Expanding districts. Expand districts to increase their scale, both in terms of size and capabilities. Expanded districts are more efficient and provide additional building slots. Select the district to open this panel and click on the Expand button. Then select new tiles around the chosen district to start the expansion. If there are not enough adjacent tiles to select, the district cannot be expanded. Be mindful that housing districts have no building slots upon construction, contrary to other types of districts. That is why you need to expand such a district at least once to be able to construct any buildings inside it. Okay, I see now. Okay, what should we see expand? Should we expand on the housing district? Maybe we should wait for this to develop first. That's the food extraction. Oh, what the heck? Oh, that's how they keep the soil fertile. They have to little underground for heating to keep the ground
at optimal temperatures for germination.
That's genius. Alright then, let's pause for a moment here. I need to look around for some scraps. I mean, heat stats. Alright, 13 per week. Let's see.
The captain is dead, coal is gone, the generator is off, we're doomed.
And the promenade is tomorrow! Man, I have to stop using that joke. Okay. Don't worry, fellas, I got this, alright? Okay, relation seems to be very good now, so let's try funding projects. Plus 39 heat stamps. Relationships of stars improved. Let's fund it. Alright! The United States give it to stars. Demonstrate to ambassador interest. Oh, that just gives, what is it, give them the heat stamps or? Hold on a second. I'll learn along the way, okay? Yeah, I just want to get to the coal, okay? Let's see, press C, the coal seam is over here, so I think we should start frostbreaking. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, I don't know close here. Cool. Not literally. Check mark. Food is pretty good, but I think we still need to expand the housing, so. Who hates her kid euphemia? I think he got it out from an old tattered novel. What the hell is euphemia? What kind of name is euphemia anyway? Oh, euphemism, which is based on mild or indirect word or expression substituted to one considered to be too harsh or blunt.
It's also the name of a female Christian virgin martyred saint of Chalcedon, who in 303 AD was arrested and tortured at the wheel before being mauled to death by a bear for the crime of refusing to offer sacrifices to the war god Ares.
Okay, the basic case is just a goody two shoes a person who does not like to use foul language. Gotcha. Yeah, really sorry about that. One of my staff must have fall off the bed while sleeping, so don't mind the noise, fellas. Alright! We got ourselves a new house! New apartments, woohoo! Okay, let's see what it's like. Oh, look at that! You got an automaton! Oh, look at that! That's awesome! Look at him walking around! I just hope they don't have silly stuff on the people on the street. Really, I don't work for weeks if they knocked on one of these big, huge, knocked off machines there. Okay. Let's try expanding the district. Expand the district to increase its output and provide one additional building slot. Requires 50 heat stands, but also minus 50 feet. Okay, so where should I expand? 1, 2, 3. Check.
On a side note, I think this game mechanic is implementing a debit-credit based accounting system. The plus sign on the heat stamps represents the capital investments pulled into the city infrastructure and its people, which in turn leads to the heat stamps being withdrawn from the government coffers, while the negative sign denotes the loans withdrawn from the domestic monetary deposits or the taxes collected from their sales, purchases, or income, which in turn leads to deposits into the government coffers. As for physical inventory assets like prefabs, materials, and food, or capital assets like shelter, the negative sign indicates expenditure of resources, while the positive sign indicates recovery or gain in resources. Also, I just noticed that any heat stamp amount written in black indicates flow of money to or from the city stakeholders, while the heat stamp amount written in blue refers to money flow around the government treasury. Personally, as an apprentice accountant, I don't mind the system, but this may confuse some novice players who may not understand the basics of accounting.
What's this over here? Cores! Oh, let's learn about it. Cores are pivotal components of machinery from the era preceding the Great Frost. Oh, the steam cores! Okay, come on. You needed to, power the heavy machinery.
Basically, it's a glorified steam turbine that supercharges the working energy of complex machinations and is controlled by a series of punch card computer control systems, much like today's experimental AI-operated vehicles and power plants.
These are essential in upgrading the generator and constructing advanced buildings. Cores are the specialized mechanical components required to construct advanced buildings and generator upgrades. Cores are too advanced to reliably manufacture. Search the FROSTPUNK to find more to add to your stockpile. Manufacturing technology of a comparable quality is nearly impossible in the current environment. As such, you cannot produce any cores. Consider every investment you make with cores carefully, as they are a scarce resource. You can only find additional cores by exploring the FROSTPUNK. Okay, first I need to establish some code secrets first. Then I should talk about the responsibilities of each stakeholder in the New London City. I am not blocking anything very important right here. Oh, look at that! Oh, look at the new road. Oh yeah, I hear that engine purr, baby! Woo! Yeah, alright! Oh, everything's super cold now, guys. There's not much heat, fellas. Buildings. Research Institute. Yeah, I think I should have started with that first. Oh, requires a 400 workforce. Facility dedicated to coming up with technological and sociological solutions to large-scale problems. Unlocks the idea tree. Each institute improves research speed. Okay, and there's Central. Council Hall. Oh, seat of the council where delegates representing the city's inhabitants meet to discuss and enact new laws. Oh, okay. Yes. We must bring back the modern city back
to our newfound post-apocalyptic society, guys.
But first, we must invent. Research speed is increased. Okay, wait, where am I supposed to build this? Cannot be built in this type of district. A second. Let's check buildings. You can construct buildings in districts and there is an empty building slot available beside it. Buildings have their demand and output, which are added to the already existing economy of a district.
In accounting terms, we call that utility expenses and repairs and maintenance.
That's cool, Buildings can improve the base output of a district. For example, provide food or reduce problems directly, such as squalor or crime. Initially, you don't have many buildings available for construction. However, the Research Institute is a building that is always available from the very beginning of the game. It provides you access to the idea tree and a cumulative bonus to research speed. Ooh, alright. Developing new ideas is essential to the invention of new technology and new buildings. Be mindful of who is conducting your research, as the ideologies of specific groups will influence the result of their work. They will come forth with special variants of a building aligned with their views. Some buildings unlock abilities that can be used in a district where they are constructed. For example, a hospital unlocks the preliminary triage ability. Oh, okay, kind of build a slum. Where am I supposed to build this? Okay, maybe I should frostbreak a little bit more. Preferably maybe a bit northwards. Oh, a second. Frostbreak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Checkpoint. Uh-oh, what about the tensions going on? Tensions. Tension is located in the very middle of the bottom of the screen. It is portrayed by an orb that can be filled with black liquid as tension rises throughout the city.
Just like that orb from the German movie How to Be Really Bad, which changes from black to magenta whenever the demon girl, Lilith, sways from her dark personality and becomes sentimental.
Tension shows you how agitated and anxious people are in the city. Tension rises if other problems like cold, hunger, disease, squalor, or crime are high. Factors may also increase tension. It depends on their fervor. The more they are radicalized, the more tension they can cause. Besides, factions may engage in various disruptions, such as protests. Oh my god, if it's going to bad. Be careful, if your tension reaches the maximum limit, the city will fall into uncontrollable. Big giant demon spirit of Discord is gonna come around and mess everything up, guys. Tension level changes dynamically, so keep an eye on it, especially when it rises. Yes, as I said before, the social contract is not static, okay? Everything is always dynamic. What kind of expectations you must meet will highly depend on how society perceives you and your decisions. Tension reflects the overall situation in the city, so the best way to lower tension is to improve the city. Decrease problems like cold or disease, or de-equalize factors, lowering their fervor. You may also research certain ideas that will lower tension.
Search
among buildings, policies, or hubs in the idea tree to find adequate solutions. Okay. Alright then. Before we do that, let's check up our frostbreaking situation. Let's see. Shall close. Alright, now we can build the extraction district. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check one. And maybe frostbreak over here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that should do it. Okay, I think we're good here. Alright, we're trying to district, fellas. Yes, we got enough. Oh my god, why is it red? What? Why is the generator red? Oh, the tensions are rising, guys. Oh no, I figured out what happened to the tensions. Activity increased by severe cold. Greatly increased by fear of burning out of cold. Marginally increased by minor disease. Oh no. Oh, we have to ease the tension, guys. Maybe.
Steward, we are calling you, Steward.
Yeah, we got it. I got you, guys. I got your back, guys. As far as computer, I can't be good. See, maybe not tax them, okay? We're not ready to tax. That's the new Londoners. The favorites raise funds. Nah, I'm not sure about that. Fervor.
Steward.
Mobilize enforcers. The scholars will feel elite squad of guards to be used at Steward's discretion. Plus 5 free guards for squad's purse. I'm not sure who should for the guys first. It's pretty pricey. I really need those heat stamps to like fund new projects. Raise funds. As the starters to contribute all they can to good cities and larger population, the more heat stamps they will contribute. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to ease the tensions here. Yeah, you know what? I'll figure out this to help with your housing situation. Yes, let's see where we can find what's happening here. No, pray White House doesn't collapse at all like the last time. Russell Saunders, the Frostlander. Alright, let's see. Hold on a second. I want to do some housing. Housing district. Oh no, Squaller's high! No, oh crap. We don't have enough materials. Alright, let's focus over here. Hold on a sec. Let's move over a bit here. Yeah. Build some new houses. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we're out of space. Okay, let's do some prospecting. Let's expand a little bit first. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, that should do it. Okay, we just need to house 25 more people. So first maybe we should build a couple of houses over here and expand a little bit afterwards. Oh, they're digging around the pipeline. Okay, I see. Oh, I just love those activities. Oh, look at that. I just hope those machines don't end up falling off a cliff. That looks like very dangerous working conditions. Building. You know what? Now let's focus on trying to find some materials over here because we're not super low on goods here. Goods are items that satisfy the needs and desires of people living in the city. They can be simple as furniture, cutlery, books, and games, and more luxury items like watches, jewelry, cigars, and elaborate clothing. Oh, like steel coats, yes. They are highly desirable in providing comfort to the citizen.
Which is exactly how economists define goods. Goods are tangible items that are wantonly valued by consumers and are a result of inputs from land, human effort, skilled labor, equipment, and factories required for production and manufacturing. The intangible acts that buyers are willing to pay in exchange for those labor inputs are known as services. Keep in mind though that any production of a good or provision of a service will yield unwanted and undesirable items and effects, which are in contrast defined as bads. Examples include trash, pollution, diseases, and crime, as already shown in the game. Consequently, this creates a market of people who are affected by these bads, which in turn creates another category of goods/service that involves removal or elimination of these bads, such as garbage landfills, street cleaning, medicines, and public security.
Yes, we're going to mercantile territories and also more capitalism and corporatism.
And market consumerism.
Yes, alright. When goods are scarce, people will begin to fight over them, contributing to crime and decreasing the income of people.
There is a reason why economic experts call this dilemma the economic problem, because when facing with scarcity, people are forced to make trade-offs and tough decisions on how to use those limited resources. When we are faced with limited choices that can cost valuable opportunities, we are ultimately locked in intense competition with others who are also faced with these limited opportunities. This prolonged shortage of goods results in a total market failure, leading to inefficiencies in allocations of precious resources, and a deadweight loss that worsens consumer welfare. Under a laissez-faire market system, the owners would deal with the scarcity by socializing the losses to cut down production costs, such as infusing toxic byproducts into finished products, and privatize the profitable gains on their low-grade merchandise, while others would take advantage by purposefully underproducing a high-quality product and overcharging at a high price. Since the market system in New London lacks any real foreign competition in a post-apocalyptic hellscape, it is no surprise any black merchant or corrupt industrial capitalist in New London would distort the market by producing as many cheap defective goods as possible, while also charging them at an unreasonably exuberant sales amount, much to the dismay of unwary consumers who in turn may resort to drastic measures to meet their basic needs. This forces the new London government to intervene and spend tax money on reallocating those essential goods more appropriately and protecting their valuable assets, just to make living conditions in society at least somewhat tolerable. Hence why the city loses heat stamps when facing a goods supply deficit.
Goods can be produced at the outer materials in London districts. Remember, you need to switch industrial output to produce goods instead of prefabs.
On a final note, the wide availability of consumer goods within an isolated metropolis not only eases social tensions, but it also boosts the city's gross domestic product, which is an economic performance based on the value of all final goods and services produced in the metropolis annually. By creating both factory markets for business firms and a household market for citizens, a circular flow in the economy is created. Goods provide an incentive for workers to offer services to the government and business firms in exchange for wages, which they will spend on goods in other firms or store in the bank for future interest earnings and for other entities to borrow for business investments and covering the government budget. Firms earn sales revenue from selling goods to households and the government. Any amount earned from business must be paid off as wages to cover labor, interest for borrowed use of capital investments, rent for land, and taxes to the government. In summary, goods act as a secondary medium of exchange among households, the government, and the enterprises, thereby generating economic growth, prosperity, and stability within the last possible remaining post-apocalyptic society on Snowball Earth.
It's very good to have some consumerism within the Frostlands, you know? Keep the people happy and content. Okay, we're got some materials over here, so I think we might need to build some hubs. Stockpile hub, goods hub, food, material stockpile hub. Infrastructure with variable sites and warehouses to allow bulk of materials. Yeah, let's see. Where should I build my materials? Oh wait, hold on a second. Maybe build over here. But hold on a sec. Not over here. Oh wait, it's still building, so I have to wait first. What the heck is that, crop walker? Is that like a crop walker from the Avatar 2? Let's see. Oh, everything's so red. Why is it fucking red?
Is everyone burning strontium salts in their fatty oil lamps?
Let's check on the housing first. Gotta start freaking out the capitalists. Is it possible to expand? Yeah, it's possible to expand. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we were good here. Yeah, I think we should focus on finding goods, so let's see here. Yeah, which one is the factory? Maybe we should build an industrial district so we can manufacture the goods and give the goods to the people so they won't get poor and they won't have to fight over some precious luxuries. Industrial district. Heat, let's see. Where should I build it? Okay, you need 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, hold on a second. Let me zoom out a bit. Oh, no, not over here. 5, 6. Checkpoint. Oh, we're out of heat stabs. We got to tax the people, guys. But good thing I got my starter's attention here.
Steward.
Yeah, I got you. Listen, guys, I need some help with the funding over here because we're pretty low on heat stabs over here. So I need to help raise the heat stabs for me just as well. They trust the steward will spend them wisely. Yes, I will. We have to industrialize and capitalize for the sake of humanity. Alright, let's see. Okay, I think our housing is pretty good, but maybe build a few more houses, just in case. It's the progress, it's the merit equality, and that's tradition and reason, blah, blah, blah. I'll read on that later on, but first let's build a house. A housing district. Okay, maybe leave a frostpunk first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And maybe build a food district as well. Stockpile as much as we can. So we will deal with the crime season in case we run into any famines. Food district. Build over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check mark. Alright. Well, I think we need to build a stockpile, so. Material stockpile. Maybe here and check mark. Alright, I should do it. More funds, I suppose.
So generous of them to donate.
Efficient, the Frostlander. Alright, let's see here. Is the factory ready yet? Okay, I think it's time to turn on the generator. We got enough coal. Oh, too late. Keep it ready. Pause it here. Wait, let me pause it first. Okay, let's see. Generator, turn on. Scraping the barrow! Good work, Steward! We have secured a new coal deposit! It's part of the last vein in New London. There are still some deposits left, but they won't last long. We'll need to improve our mining to use efficiently, but the city's communities are voicing different ideas about how to do it. We need to decide whose ideas are worth pursuing. We must choose a solution, and also build a new council hall. That's the night you find the moonshine ale. First, build a research institute. Yeah, it's way ahead of you, fellers. Let's see. Buildings can be belong to district with empty building slots. Our for building a research institute in an expanded housing. Let's see. Oh, we don't have enough heat stats for this. I must raise more funding. Okay, hold on a second. Now let's talk to the people. Oh no, it's too many. Okay, oh no, we're really cold, guys. That's my body's 50. No. Alright, yes, I got it. Yes. Let's see. Raise funds. Is there any way we can perhaps the Frostlanders? Demand funds. I really need to get some deep stats here, guys. Contributions plus 38. Other Central District plus 8. Okay, I guess I have to call it storage hub here. Yeah, guys, that's alright. I need more funding so we can build a new research institute. So, oh, it's too early. It's too soon to perform this action. Let's see. Let's try to London. Okay, let's raise some funds here. Yeah, sorry about this, guys. Oh, 250 peace stats. Alright. They trust the stewards can spend them wisely. Okay, yes, they will spend it wisely on a new research institute. So, let's see. Okay, Research Institute. Oh, right down over there. Cool. Research Institute is under construction institute. Okay. Oh crap, it's boiling over. I don't like this red liquid.
Appreciates all your adoring letters and will answer personally in due time.
I really appreciate the praising hope from our people.
But unfortunately, it's not gonna. Oh, stop it! Bring it, red liquid! It's really obvious. It's got a demonic spirit inside. What am I doing wrong here? Greatly increased by notable disease. Greatly increased by fear of code. Okay, it looks like we need to find more code, guys. Maybe build another housing district. Let's see, what is it again? Housing district. Yeah, let's build it around here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check mark. Yeah, I think we're doing good, guys. We just need to expand a little bit more. Is the industrial district? Okay, it's still a little running around extraction district. 1, 2, 3. Over here, the squad is too high. 5, 6, 7. Oh, I miscounted so many guys. Materials and surplus, 125. Well, that's for 50 weeks. Cool. Okay. Research idea for new coal mines. Construct a new research building in the district. And let's see, maybe also build a council as well. Oh, really? Oh, it's too low. Never regrets too low, guys. Okay, yeah, I guess we'll have to wait until all the resources run out. Alright, so now that we got all the coal here, I think it's time for me to talk about responsibilities of each stakeholder. Research Institute constructed. You can now research new ideas. First, let's read up on district employment. District employment can be manually controlled in a district panel. By selecting a percentage value, you can scale all operations in a district. This adjustment will reduce the required workforce and resources requirement, but also result in lower output. If full employment cannot be selected in a district, it means there are not enough available workforce in your city. To address this, you need to either reduce employment in other districts or increase the workforce. These workforce adjustments will affect all buildings in the district. Oh, that's what this scale is here for. Okay, I see now. Idea tree. The idea tree. The Research Institute unlocks the idea tree, where new ideas and solutions can be researched. Oh, okay, so it's like the law tree from the first game, but this one is about ideas instead of laws. Oh, jeez, oh, my throat is getting too parched from all this cold. Okay. However, different communities may propose diverging answers to the same issue. You need to decide which community will research a specific topic, resulting in an outcome tailored to that community. Choosing a community to research an idea will improve your relationships to them. The amount of time needed for research may be reduced by building more research institutes. Each institute will increase research speed, but as you build more institutes, the incremental gain from adding new one diminishes.
Ah yes, the classical law of diminishing returns, in which the initial rise of variable inputs like human labor and productive capital assets leads to a rise in marginal product. That is the total change in output per change in input. With each successive rise in the number of researchers taking on multiple specialized fields, the research speed, i.e. work productivity in the institute, will increase rapidly from the start. By the peak of productivity though, any further increase in variable inputs will create a crowding effect, meaning that hiring more workers beyond a certain limit will lead to what is known as diminishing marginal product, i.e. excessive additional researchers leads to smaller increases and an eventual decline in research speed. In layman's terms, if there are too many cooks in the kitchen, you should probably reassign them to other duties so as to not stir the boiling pot.
You can also generate SL research by using the action Rust researchers in the District Research Institute. What the heck? Is it like 24 hours just for the research facility? No, I can't do that. Even geeks and the nerds need to get their sleep, guys, and because their minds are not very well rested, and they might make some very stupid decisions, you know? A permanent change in research speed is possible by setting adequate laws constructing buildings with such effect. However, those means are not available from the start, and you need to research them first. Alright, gotcha. Alright, let's see here. Oh no, we're losing heat. We need to expand a little bit more first. Already on that, fellas. Let me check. Abandoned ruins. Okay, at least the district is almost done here, so. Rolling wood. Nah, I need to find more coal here. Frozen forest. Ooh, there's a deep forest hidden in the frozen ocean here. We need to find more coal seeds. Maybe I should enact some emergency shifts. Yeah, because we're really super. Oh god, I think the trust is way too low, guys. I need to build a trust again. Okay, how do I build the trust? There we go. Let's worry about that later. Right now, we just need to find some more coal around here. Uh-oh, it's gonna get really cold in a couple of few weeks, so... let's see... what we got here, there's some cold seams over here, so maybe we can start frost breaking. Here we go, a sec. Oh, we don't have enough lines for this. Let's check the idea tree. The idea tree. We need new ideas to move forward. However, different communities may propose diverging answers to the same issue. They will only pursue solutions that align with their worldview. Choosing community to develop an idea will improve your relationship with that community. I see. Oh, this is faster than the idea tree. Housing insulation or coma. You know what? Maybe we should start on being more sustainable with our coal and energy usage. So maybe research on housing insulation. New Londoners showers agree with this idea. Asbestos! No. Everyone knows what happens if you breathe in asbestos, okay? Let me tell you about asbestos, right? Asbestos is a group of naturally occurring toxic, carcinogenic, and fibrous silicate minerals. There are 6 types, all of which are composed of long and thin fibrous crystals, each fiber particularly with length substantially greater in width, being composed of many microscopic fibrils that can be released into the atmosphere, vibration, and other processes. Inhalation of asbestos virus can lead to various dangerous lung conditions, including mesothelioma, asbestosis, and lung cancer. As a result of these health effects, asbestos is considered a health and safety hazard. How did people view asbestos back in the 19th century? I got look this up in my archival library. The large-scale asbestos industries began in the 19th century. Early attempts at production of asbestos, paper, and cloth in Italy back in the 1850s were unsuccessful. Canadian examples of asbestos displayed in London in 1862, where first companies were formed in England and Scotland to support this research. Asbestos was first used in manufacturing yarn, and German industrialist Louis Werfein adopted this process in his factories in Germany. In 1871, the patent asbestos manufacturing company was established in Glasgow, and during the following decades, the Clydebank area became a center for industry. Use of asbestos was increasingly widespread toward the end of the 19th century, when its diverse applications include fire-retardant coatings, concrete bricks, pipes, and fireplace cement, heats, fire and acid-resistant gaskets, pipe insulation, ceiling insulation, fireproof drywall, flooring, roofing, lawn furniture, and drywall joint compound. Discovery of toxicity. The 1898 annual report on chief inspector of factories and workshops in the United Kingdom noted that negative health effects of asbestos, the contribution having been made by Lucy Dean Stritfield, one of the first female factory inspector. In 1899, H. Montague Murray noted the negative effects of asbestos, and first documented death related to asbestos was in 1906. In the early 1900s, researchers began to notice a large number of early deaths and lung problems in asbestos mining towns. The first such study was conducted in Murray and the Charing Cross Hospital, London, in 1900s, when a post-mortem investigation discovered asbestos traces in the lungs of a young man who had died from pulmonary fibrosis after working for 14 years in an asbestos textile factory. Adelaide Anderson, the inspector at the factory in Britain, included asbestos in the list of harmful industrial substances in 1902. Similar investigations were conducted in France, 1906, and 1908. Yeah, so basically what we're trying to say is, like, maybe somewhere along the post-apocalyptic timelines, someone discovered the dangers of asbestos, but due to the dire situation of people dying from the warmth within their houses, people would overlook the dangers of asbestos and implementing into their housing insulation. So, anyway, let's read about asbestos lighting. To take advantage of the natural properties of this fiber, dwellings will be upgraded with asbestos-laden materials to prevent heat leaks and promote energy conservation. Base heat demand for housing districts is decreased. And there's no alternative here? Come on, there's gotta be an alternative.
Not even fiberglass, mineral wool, or glass wool?
Let's try resources. Frostland, city, and society. And homes. Let's try improving our coal mine situation. The dust coal mine. No one shares this idea. Mining operation where residual coal is sucked up and compressed into briquettes to make maximum use of the resource. Yeah, you can actually make little bricks from the dust in the air, okay?
Here's how the operation works. Coal used for thermal power plants is first grounded up by a powdered coal mill. The briquettes, made from the pulverized or ground up coal, also known as nutty slack, with nuts referring to the coal lumps and slack referring to the dust, were first originally hand molded with wet clay as a binding agent, forming what were colloquially known as coal bombs. Unfortunately, these early forms of briquettes yielded low-efficient fuel that left unburned clay ash after burning. Thankfully, advances in Victorian technology helped mechanize coal briquette molding with an hydraulic press that crushed and compressed these nuts into hard bricks, and binding them all together with only small amounts of tar and pitch, thus creating a fast-burning, low-ash fuel with improved heating efficiency. Different mixes of coal nutty slacks can be compressed into square pillow-shaped briquettes, also known as furnace-site, to allow easy packing, improve airflow, and smooth mechanical feeding into the firebed of the generator, thus allowing for development of automatic heating boilers that can operate for days without human intervention. Of course, having too many nutty slacks within a very small confined space can be a dangerous choking hazard to workers when left suspended in the air near grounding and milling equipment. Thus can lead to pulmonary diseases such as black lung disease if inhaled in excess. The coal nutty slack can also be acutely dangerous if ignited into a fiery blaze, which can create a deadly dust explosion hazard. As the wide and confined shafts make nutty slacks easier to spread out in a tight space, any flaming hot source, such as a gas lighting lamp, could trigger a spontaneous combustion that can grow into an explosion, killing any miners who are trapped within the black, choking nutty slacks.
Let's see. No one shares this idea. Severus agreed with this idea. New Londoners agreed with this idea. Blasting coal. Squalor. Oh my god. But 6th thing. Operation using your explosive drilling to rapidly exploit coal deposits, generating noxious fumes. Oh no, that can't be healthy. But no, so is not as coal mines. Which one's the most efficient? Which one will cause the least amount of damage to my city? Yeah, maybe dust coal mine sounds like slightly better. Let's research this idea here. It's gotta take 12 weeks though. Research idea. Okay, it's turning yellow. I think it's good. Demands and requirements. Buildings and districts have their requirements represented in resources, workforce, or both. If those are not fulfilled, the district will cease to function and will become disabled. On the other hand, they also have their demands. This amount contributes to your overall demand in the city, meaning that if it's not fulfilled, it will increase the city's problems like coal and squalor, but it will not affect the district's output. The district will work the same as long as its requirements are fulfilled. Requirements are listed in the district pattern. Keep in mind that you need to fulfill all of them to keep the district running. All factors that will increase city's demand are listed in the total demand section. Okay, gotcha. Alright, let's see. Okay, I think our factories are not running. Which means we should order them to, like, construction goods. Alright, let's see. 100%. No, it's -5 still. Alright, but at least we have a surplus of food over here. Oh man, but the materials, geez. Chewing them up too much is gonna cost too much squalor. We gotta expand a little bit more, so let's build some new factory. Oh, damn it. All workers are too low. Okay, what's this square mean? Different ideas! Communities of New London. A small crowd gathers outside a new research institute, arguing about how to exploit the last coal veins. The starters and New Londoners want us to lean on machine-powered mining, but the Frostlanders will have us pursue a more frugal solution. They would never display such discord under the captain's rule. You have to choose who to entrust with developing the new ideas. I'll keep this in mind, fellas. So, but I'm already researching it, okay? I'm already way ahead of you, fellas. Don't worry, Frostlanders, I got your back. Both at the time. And then... yeah, in return you have to give us
government contributions.
Taxing the Frostlander guys. Oh no, trust is too low. How do I increase trust? Okay, I need to increase the trust now, guys. Let's look into this. Yes, need to find a way to increase trust. Housing block. Plus 35. Society. Watchtower. Reduces crime. Let's see. The Frostland. Skyways. Okay, city. Famine prevention. Maintenance duty. work conditions. Yeah, maybe we should build a council first. Well, it looks like it's almost near the 1.5 hour limit mark, guys. Okay, maybe we should build a council first, then I can end this episode, okay? There we go. I need some workers. I need to do a little decrease. Okay, let's see. More funds, I suppose. Oh, yes. The government needs the funding in order to industrialize and improve our chances of survival. Reduce a little here. Oh, no. Okay, right over here is good. Okay, here is good. Okay, and we have to build a council, so... no, not this one. Cannot be building this type of district. See a council where delegates representing the city's inhabitants venture to discuss and enact laws. Where can I build it? Oh, right over here. Okay, you have to do that. I was gonna say. The council will be near to use the generator. Okay, gotcha. I see now. Oh, ice is gear broken. Slightly decreased efficiency. Oh no, crap. Okay, I need to adjust this a little bit more. Oh, there's only 80 workers. Let's see here. No, that's not any worse. Yeah, I need to make sure I maintain the heat. Uh-oh, everyone's getting sick from the cold. That is really tricky, guys. I never run a city that had this sort of skill before. Let's check the resources. Oh, we're still building over here, so... I think we should do it within like a couple weeks, I guess. Uh-oh, what's going on now? A generator wakes! A child is born! People gather out the generator tower as it wakes of a funding shudder and bestows heat on us yet again. This is the heart of the city, our last line of defense against the cold, our first hope for a future, any future. Steward. There's a couple who said their first child, a daughter, was born at the exact moment the generator sprang to life again. They called her Lily May. They asked that you bless her. You gave us hope that, thanks to you, our child may yet have a future ahead of her. People are hopeful for the future for them after all. Very well, Lily May. May your life be warm and your wings spare your paths. Amen, people. Amen. Oh, I really love the automata walking around trying to check around the Alaskan pipeline. I just love this orchestral music. I really want to figure out what I should focus on next. Okay, we're still lacking some time. The counting hours for the first time. We can vote on new laws. All right, yes, let's vote. The first council session. Anticipation fills the air as the council opens. The captain ruled with a firm hand for years, but those times died with him. Now the communities of the city want their say. The stalwarts maintain order on behalf of the captain and adhere to what they claim was his vision for New London. Progress, merit, and reason. The New Londoners and Frostlanders clash over our survival strategy, though neither has a firm stance on economic or social issues. Okay, so that's basically society at large, and maybe the consumers as well. And the stalwarts are like the professionals in the police force combined, okay? The technocrats. Then there are those who view the stalwarts with contempt for their role in New London's history, but they keep to the shadows, for now. Based on your handling of the coal crisis, the first decision is whether you should maintain your role as steward. Let's open this session. Oh, look at that, guys. We're parliamentary meeting, guys. Oh my gosh, you're fighting all the time. Guys, bring it up. I called for a meeting, not a street brawl. Jeez, this is not a fighting arena. Okay, let's see what we got here. Vote of confidence. Should the steward remain in power? If this vote fails, the delegates will immediately remove you from office. No, I don't want to be impeached, guys. I don't want to fall in the same fate as Justin Trudeau. Well, vote or negotiate. You are well tolerated. Voting in 10 weeks. Let's see. Let's check the New Londoners. The New Londoners, the community, attached to a city and its generator, the citizens of New London have stayed together through thick and thin. They value technology, which they credit for getting through the great storm. Community service, the stalwarts. Faction, disciples of the captain who introduced order as a core tenet of New London, strict, controlling, and devoted to the captain's memories. This is the manifest. Progress, the generator and our typical ingenuity allow us to power through and will enable us to thrive. Merit. We persevere because we ensure the best of us are given the tools and rewards to lead us into the future. Number 3. Reason. Efficiency in society is permanent, and the social order needs to change to support it. It will. They seek to pass 1. Community service. City development effort. Contagion prevention. Infectious bat. And childhood. Mandatory schooling. Oh yeah, we should definitely vote on this guy. Free schooling for everyone. Unlock. Mobilize enforcers. Community action. The Stalwarts will field elite squads or guards to be used at stewards' discretion. Good relations rooms, extra PFAS assembly. Provides additional PFAS income. The Frostlanders. The community, originally hailing from New London, these colonists of Frostland's outposts try to establish a permanent foothold beyond the city. Yes, remember Outpost 11 during that DLC on the edge? Where these bunch of guys in the outpost got tired of New London because they were withholding a bunch of food rations. So when they tried to look for like new food resources, the New London demanded to hand over all the food they had collected from the food settlement, and that caught them like really super angry. And then they defected from New London and tried to establish their own form of trading community within themselves. But then New London came in and said, oh, I'm customer, very sorry about how we treated you, okay? Food in general was running down. All the houses were like deteriorating. We're really sorry. Can you forgive us? And depending on your decisions, you can either help New London to thrive more once again, or you can leave it to rot in this little giant icy hell and let it deteriorate into nothing but a cold house like winter home. Anyway, double click on a delegate to view their profile. Okay, let's see here.
Cyril Stafford, botanist, Frostlander, still remembers his first time his mentor complimented his sledge knots. Loves the feeling of snow on his face. Quickly angered by being told to calm down. I calm!
The council is where the delegates vote for laws. Laws can greatly impact the city and affect its zeitgeist. You can propose laws, however, they must be voted in by the majority to take effect. In some special cases, such as laws from the rural category, a 2/3 majority, such as 67 delegates, is required to pass the vote. Communities and factions will fight for or against different laws, depending on their views. You can learn more about them by clicking on different communities and factions icons in the council view. There are different methods to affect how delegates vote for a specific law in the council. You can utilize these methods after
Proposing a law.
After voting on a law, the council enters the recess phase, meaning a specific amount of time must pass before delegates can be gathered for another vote. However, you can call for an emergency council session, which immediately triggers a new voting session. Beware that its use and ability to trust decreases further. This ability is available in the central district, where the council is located. Hold left up for resource stronger. Okay, you can actually look down resources. Voting delegates in 10 weeks. Let's see. 20 for people under 5. Resident 65. 65 for hesitant. Relation support or neutral. 20 or 4 me by 15 or against. Let's negotiate it. Vote distribution. Let's see. Well, hold on a second. Let's go back to the rules. I want to know what's negotiate. Negotiate. Not all laws you propose will have widespread support. You can negotiate to have a better chance of a vote passing. After choosing a group to negotiate with, you can decide what to promise them in exchange for voting along with your proposal. That includes actions such as enacting a law they desire, building or destroying a building, or using an action against a particular community or faction. This is getting real complicated, guys. Let's try voting. Let's negotiate. Vote distribution. Oh, they still kept that thing safe style. Let's see. Should the steward be remain in power? Does vote fail? Okay, let's see. Who should I negotiate? The Frostlanders or the New London? Yeah, Star Wars. I don't know. It's so difficult. You know what? People first. Always satisfying the people first. The common people, I mean. Okay. My terms is it will vote for passing a law during the next round. Vote again. It will vote against passing a law during the next round. Okay, let's see. Okay, use a community faction on New Londoner. Yes, community action fund projects. Fund projects beneficial to the community. Larger the population, the more heat. Research and machine-centered shift. To put less pressure on workers, workplaces can keep machines power around the clock and adjust working hours accordingly. Workforce requirement is decreased, but Scotland is marginally increased though. City development effort. Everyone must support the production of prefabs to help expansion of the city. Main district produces a small amount of prefabs. This is a step towards progress. Okay, let's see. Let's do a community action. Except this one. Okay, let's try to negotiate. Okay, maybe not the Star Wars. Star Wars are still happy with these. Uh-oh. Won't negotiate. Already negotiated. Frostlanders. Okay, vote for me. Hold on a second. Let's see. Weather adjusted shift. To protect worker health, the workplaces must adapt working hours due to the weather conditions. Disease is slightly decreased, but the production efficiency is slightly decreased as well. Heat demanded districts other than housing is now decreased. And also condemn. Public condemn this faction as members. They will lose members and potentially lose seats in the capital. Separate fervor is increased. But relationship is worsened with the sacraments. Building. Untreated sawmill. Master sawmill in which frozen and wood is cut into usable materials without undergoing any treatment, speeding up the process but exposing people to most sports and fucking sports and fucking that's surviving a cold. Why is there even materials output? Alright, but the season is slightly increased. Turning heat demand was required. Let's negotiate for a sawmill. So let's do that and let's vote. Come on, give me the money, guys. Come on. Gary needs a new pair of shoes. Lost pass, alright, yeah, alright. I get to stay in office. Alright. Let's celebrate, guys. Woohoo. Yeah. And to celebrate, I'm going to end this episode right now because I am way over this. Like 1 hour and 45 minutes. So just remember, folks. You don't have to live in New London, you don't have to work in New London, and you don't have to, follow me in New London. But if you still want to help New London progress towards a new, better future for everyone, and hopefully not only in this whole entire city to fall into freaking squalor, crime, and deterioration from the Great Frost elements, and also the great discord among our people, then go on right ahead. This is Young Steward C, signing off until next time. Bye-bye. And remember, stay frosty, fellas.